Yo, what's up with it, y'all? It's JD. I'm back with another quick video. And today's video, I want to pay tribute, pay homage to my stepfather who just passed away a few days back. He was killed in a freeway shooting out in Oakland, California. But number one, I want to talk a little bit about him as a man. And number two, I want to have a workout that I dedicated to him, that I'm gonna be playing in the background, and probably the first, exercise that I want to share with you guys is fingertip push-ups. And this is an exercise that, when I was a teenager coming up playing basketball, he was always stressing on me. You know what I mean? Make sure you do your fingertip push-ups. Do your fingertip push-ups so you can strengthen your hands, for that grip. With basketball, that was my sport back in the days. And, I did some fingertip push-ups in his honor. And I'm actually going to continue to do the fingertip push-ups. I actually, it's an extremely useful exercise. It's just something that I kind of lost track of and, almost forgot about. And, it's just something I'm just going to, continue to do from here on out. But, I want to tell you guys a little bit about him. Number one, Ransom is his name. You guys can Google him, look him up. He was an All-American basketball player in high school and college. Was drafted by the Golden State Warriors. Phenomenal athlete, played professional baseball, minor league baseball for the Oakland A's. Great man overall, just a kind-hearted person, had a big heart, If Gene was the type of person that if he loved you, he loved super hard. If he loved you, he'll fight to the death for you. That's just the type of person that he was. So, I wanted to make this video in tribute and, share this workout that I did. I got an extremely good workout in and wanted to share it with you guys. And, I was thinking about him. I've been thinking about him a lot over the past few days. And one thing that I've actually kind of been thinking about is just, perspective in general, perspective in life. And a lot of times the perspective that we have with a lot of the relationships that we have in life. And, sometimes you can get focused on, some of the negative aspects of these relationships that you might have and take for granted the positive things that you take from somebody. And, like I said, Gene was my stepdad. So, Gene came into my life when I was a young teenager, 14 years old. So you got to understand where I was at 14 years old. And me and Gene were like jockeying for position in the house, like who's the man of the house. When I was a teenager, it was like we used to get into these epic battles. You know what I mean? We'll go play basketball. We used to get in these, just everything. Everything was competitive in the house. If my mom made dinner, if Gene got a slightly bigger portion on his plate, I was at my mom like, why you give this motherfucker more food than me? And vice versa, same thing. If I got more food than Gene, he'll be at my mom like, man, why you give Jed more? That's what he called me, Jed. Why you give Jed more food than you give me? So just been thinking back on a lot of the good times, and obviously, with any relationships you have your ups and downs, but the perspective is think about the things that you got from somebody. Don't necessarily think about the negative aspects of the relationship. Me and Gene, like I said, we got into battles. You know what I mean? Physical battles, mental battles, all different types of things. But at the end of the day, one thing that I can tell you for sure is that, all these things from, my teenage years and, going through, my mom was with Gene for 20 years, but all these things that had happened over the course of our relationship, it's made me a stronger person. It's made me a tougher person. I learned a lot from Gene. I learned a lot about women from Gene. I learned a lot about the streets from Gene. I just learned a lot in general, and just as a human being, I don't think I'd be as tough of a person if I didn't have that relationship as a youth. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times we might look at these things and, people might be hard on us, or, you go back and forth with people and you think about it as a negative thing in the moment, but at the end of the day, I can look back on these things and say that it hardened me up. And a lot of things that maybe Gene was doing back in the days with me or any, you know, he was my basketball coach as well. He was my AAU basketball coach, and, you know, he'll be tough on me. He'll be tough on a lot of the players, and a lot of things that he was doing was just to toughen us up. But at the time, you think, you know, this dude has it in for me or whatever. But, you know, but anyways, I guess a little bit more about Gene. As far as what he did, you know, his obviously he was an accomplished person on the basketball court and sports in general, but the man was only 5'9". So a 5'9" dude becoming an All-American in basketball in high school and college, he could have went to any university in the entire country in terms of basketball when he coming out of high school, but he wanted to go to Cal Berkeley because that's where he's from. But like I said, 5'9", Gene had a lot of grit. He had a lot of determination, and I think another thing that I might have taken for granted from, you know, him being in my life for such a long time is the fact that, you know, I took for granted that I had an elite level athlete, somebody who's accomplished elite things in the realm of athletics, you know, at my fingertips. So I took a lot of the advice for granted. I took a lot of, you know, maybe the workouts that he showed me for granted. I took a lot of the basketball knowledge that he gave me for granted. And, you know, I can look back 20 years later, 22 years later from when I first met Gene, and I can honestly say that, you know, I wouldn't be the person that I am today without that influence in my life. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's allowed me to achieve a lot of things athletically. You know, I got a basketball scholarship coming out of high school. As far as, you know, with my basketball career, I don't really feel like I achieved my potential. I didn't even really come close to my potential as far as basketball. But as far as, you know, athleticism in general and athletics in general, calisthenics is like my newfound love. And it's something that I've been pushing myself in a lot of ways that I didn't do in my basketball career. And I can see a lot of the influence that comes from, you know, Gene Ransom, or, you know, a lot of the influence that comes from my father, actually in particular as well, because both of them had a great work ethic. It's just in different areas of life. So, and that's another thing, man. It's just, Gene was a great athlete. I don't want to just like touch on that too much, but Gene was also a great person. And, you know, Gene was with my mom for 20 years, but at the same time, Gene also had a great relationship with my pops. And, you know, my pops is older, and my pops is in his 80s right now. And anytime that my dad needed something, you know, my dad needed help with something around the house, you know, I haven't lived in the Bay Area for a long time. So anytime my pops needed some help, you know, Gene would always go over there and help my pops out, you know, anything, fixing something if my dad needed help with something, or, you know, any type of heavy lifting or something like that. So, you know, I appreciate that about Gene as well. And, you know, he continued to do that even after, you know, my mom and his relationship kind of like finished. But, yeah, anyways, man, it's tragic. Definitely not the ideal way of going out. But, you know, rest in power, Gene Ransom. And, you know, I think going forward and everything that I do, you know, I'm going to try to push a little bit harder, you know what I mean, as far as the calisthenics goes, as far as creating content. I believe, I'm a person, I believe that, you know, when people pass on, when people move on, they live through the people, their loved ones. They live through their loved ones. They live through the people that they care for. They live through the people who, you know what I mean, they shared their experiences with and gave a piece of themselves to. So for me, I look at that, and, you know, once somebody passes on, it's my responsibility to go even harder. It's my responsibility to, you know, do it bigger than what I was doing before, and, you know, do it in their honor. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So also, guys, check out my website if you guys like a free consultation, Travelsthenix.com. You can book a free consultation with me. The link will be in the description box below. Hope everybody's having a great day out there. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.